Purchasing is often a critical function for most businesses. It can drastically affect the bottom line and overall performance of a company. AltheaSuite can streamline your purchasing workflow and help you stay ahead. In this video, we will discuss how to create a purchase order, receive inventory, and some setup that will help you streamline your purchasing process. Let's start off with some basic product setup. I'm going to go over to products, items, and then I'm going to go ahead and take a look at a couple of products that we want to set up. The first one's going to be the LCD. I'm going to modify this item, and I'm going to scroll down to a section that we can input some settings that will help with our purchasing. In this section, we have things like last purchase price, gives us the cost of goods, and we can select a preferred supplier. That's the first thing we're going to select. I'm going to choose Allied Electronics as our preferred vendor or supplier for this item. If you don't have a preferred vendor listed here, you can open up the context menu, create new, and add that supplier. Here you can put in things like their address, their contact information, phone number, and you can create custom fields if needed. Okay, so now I've got my preferred supplier selected. I can come over here and put in a minimum order quantity. We're going to go ahead and say 6. And then I can also put in a purchase lead day. So I'm going to say that it takes 10 days on average for me to get this product. Now, another cool feature that you can do is you can add the supplier product codes or their SKU numbers for the products that the supplier uses. So by clicking on this button right here, I already set up the Allied Electronics supplier and the product code that they're going to use for their product whenever we're purchasing. The cool thing is that when I create the purchase, it's going to use this SKU number instead of the SKU number that's in AltheaSuite for this particular item. So I'm going to go ahead and update that. And I went ahead and already set this up for both the keyboard, mouse, and the processor. Now I'm going to switch from products over to purchases. In this module, you can create things in purchase orders, you can also manage your suppliers, and take a look at our reorder management as well. So I'm going to start off with creating a new purchase order. I'm going to click new, and the first thing I want to do is put in an expected delivery date. I'm going to go and say this is the 12th of April. I'm going to also select our supplier that we're ordering from and the warehouse is being delivered to. Notice that the supplier email automatically automatically populates. If I check this box, send email to supplier, when I create this purchase order, it will go ahead and automatically send that purchase order to the supplier's email. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down, and I'm going to add a couple of items that we want to order from them. The first one's going to be the LCD that we set up. And we're also going to add in the mouse. Okay, now if you notice, the quantity defaults to the 6, that was the minimum order quantity that we put in, as well as the mouse, the default is 8. And our SKU numbers are pulling from the product SKU instead of the Althea SKU number. It has the lead days populated automatically as well, and letting me know the expected delivery of each item. Now, if I want to edit the quantity here, I can. I'm going to say that I actually need 12, and for this, I'm going to say I need 10. Once I get all the items and everything squared away, I can scroll down and continue with the purchase order. I could add notes. I could put in a shipping charge. I can also look at the PO field, for example, the payment terms and supplier terms. I can type in this right here, say it's 30 days, and we'll leave it there. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this purchase order. So now that we've created the purchase order, you'll see it listed here under your purchase order screen. There's a couple of key columns that we want to pay attention to. For example, the purchase order number, the status is important, when it was created, the expected delivery date, it has things like supplier, totals, and some other key pieces of information. You can always edit this menu as well to take things away or reorder the importance of what you want to see. But the main thing we want to take a look at right now is the status. We just created this purchase order, so the status is set to active. This means that it's a new purchase order and we're waiting delivery. In progress means that someone has started to create a purchase order, but they haven't yet finished it. So that could be another coworker or anyone else that's creating purchase orders within your company. Canceled means the purchase order has been completely canceled. Pending means that a purchase order has been partially received, but there's still items that are pending delivery on that particular purchase order. And then eventually a completed purchase order is everything's been received and there's nothing more to do with that purchase order. Okay, so now that we got the purchase order sent out, some time has passed and we're actually received the delivery. How do we handle that inside AltheaSuite? Well, if we come back to our purchase order, click on the context menu, there's a bunch of different options here. And the one that we're looking at is going to be Create Purchase. The purchase is actually telling Althea that we are receiving the delivery and are ready to add that inventory into our stock. So by creating purchase, it takes me to this screen and I can review the information. But really the important part is to come down here and take a look at the inventory that we're saying we're receiving. In this example, we're going to say that we only got half of our LCD monitors. So I'm going to edit here, and instead of saying 12 for the quantity, I'm going to say that we received 6. Once you've got the right number of inventory that you received, you've checked everything and verified the delivery package, you can come here and hit Create. This creates a purchase. Now, something before we go take a look at the purchase is that notice that our purchase order now says pending. And if you remember, pending means that we received some of the inventory, but not all of the purchase order. So let's go take a look over here at purchases on the left-hand side, and we can see that purchase that we just created right now that is attached to the purchase order in the previous screen. If I come here and take a look at this particular purchase order, it tells us that we received 6 of the LCD monitors and 10 of the mouse. Awesome. So let's also take a look at our inventory. So if I go back to my inventory here and take a look at our stock transactions, this right here shows me a list of all the actions of inventory coming and going. And if you notice on the first 2, I have received stock in of 6 quantity of the mouse, 6 of the LCD and 10 of the mouse. So that's added into my inventory. So let's say some time has passed and maybe we received the remaining LCD monitors that we're waiting for. So I can come back to purchases, purchase orders, find that original purchase order that we're waiting on the inventory on, click here again and create a purchase once more. Now when I come here, it's not going to show me the whole inventory that I had on the original purchase order. It's only going to show me the remaining stock that I have yet to receive in this purchase. So I'm going to leave it at 6 because I received all 6 LCD monitors, and I can hit create. Now if you notice, our purchase order has been completed because we received all the inventory. And if I go take a look at my purchases, we're going to have 2 separate purchases, one for the original amount that we received and the other for the remaining. Okay, so that is a very quick overview of the purchasing workflow in AltheaSuite. The main thing to remember is that the workflow is to create a purchase order, and then when you receive the inventory, you can create a purchase to add that inventory into your stock and complete the purchase order status. One thing to keep in mind is that there are more functions and features that we weren't able to cover in this video. If you have any questions about any of this process, or if there's something that we didn't cover, feel free to reach out to us or visit AltheaSuite.com.